Okay, today we are talking about chapter 2.8, which is all about adjusting quotients. Okay, adjust means to change something, and of course you know that quotients are the answer to a division problem. So today we're talking about how to change the answer to a division problem as we're trying to solve a problem. Okay, our learning goal today is to adjust the quotient, change the quotient, if the estimate that you make is too high or too low. Okay, let's find out what that means. So when we have a division problem like this, 3,382 divided by 48, what's the first step that usually goes through your head? What's the first thing you need to do? What's the first thing you need to do? Daniel? Yeah, you first have to figure out which place value to start with, your quotient needs to start with. So let's take a look. Would it start in the thousands place? Because 48 can't go into 3, right? Would it start in the hundreds place? Because 48 can't go into 33. So would it start in the hundreds place? Yes. Because we know that 48 is smaller than 338, so it must be able to go into that, right? So we know right off the bat that we would need to start in the hundreds place. So the first thing we would think in our head is, okay, how many times does 48 go into 338? Now, I don't know about you, but that's hard for me, okay? So today we're going to talk about how you can find an easy way to know what number to start with in the quotient. Let's read this. It says, when you estimate to decide where to place the first digit, you can also try using the first digit of your estimate to find the first digit of your quotient. Sometimes, though, your estimate might be too low or too high. Let's talk about this, okay? So again, the problem is 3,382 divided by 48. Remember back in chapter like 2.1 or 2.2, we talked about how we could estimate to find out where to place the first digit of the quotient? Yeah. Remember how a couple chapters ago we talked about estimating to find a low estimate and a high estimate? So let's go back and use those estimating skills. The book is saying that 3,338 is pretty close to 3,000. Would you agree? Is 3,000 an easier dividend to work with? Okay. The book is also saying that 48 is pretty close to 50. Would you agree? Yeah. Is 50 an easier divisor to work with? In our heads, can we do 3,000 divided by 50 really quickly? We know that 3,000 divided by 50 is 60, right? So they're saying, okay, let's try 6 tens as our first digit in our quotient. Let's see what happens. So if I put 6 up here, right? See how they put 6 up here? Then dad divided, and he's going to try 6. Then mom multiplies, and she does 6 times 48, which is 228. When sister subtracts, she finds that the answer is 50. What do you know? What can you tell from looking at this work right here? What can you tell? So using our estimation can help us because if we know that our estimate is too low, we can adjust the number in our quotient by increasing it by 1, right? Let's try another problem really quick. Here's our new problem, 453 divided by 65. Let's estimate. 453 is pretty close to the number 490. Would you agree?
Yeah.
65 is pretty close to the number 70. Would you agree?
Yeah.
We can really quickly in our head do 490 divided by 70 is 7. Is what? 7. Because 7 times 65 is 455, is that number smaller or bigger than the dividend? So can we do that?
No.
So what do we know? Since the estimate is now too high, we need to adjust by decreasing the number in the quotient. So instead of starting with 7, what number should we start with? Instead of starting with 7, what number should we start with, Daniel?
60 divided by 400.
So now let's go back and look at our real division problem. 453 divided by 65. Was 7 a good number to start with?
No.
It was too big. So what should we start with now? 6. So let's try starting with 6. So if Dad's going to divide 453 divided by 65. Now we know a good number to start with is 6. So now let's multiply. What's 6 times 65? Tanvi? 390. We subtract. 453 minus 390 is what? Stuart? 63. Is our remainder smaller than our divisor?
Yes.
So now we know the answer is 6 remainder 63. Okay? So to solve the problem, the equation we normally would use, right, to solve the actual problem is 6,127 divided by 75. And now we know that 70 is an easier number to work with than 75. And Adam says he knows his math facts. He knows that 7 times 9 is 63. So let's use something that's really close to 6,127, which is 6,300. Okay, so let's estimate. What's 6,300 divided by 70? Clarissa? 90. So we know that in our real division problem, first of all, we're going to start in the tens place, right? And what 10 should we try first? What zone or what ballpark? What's the range of where our answer should be? Should we try 1 time?
No.
3?
No.
5?
No.
7?
No.
9?
Yes.
Why do you know that 9 is a good place to start? Rashika? Yeah, because in our estimate, the answer was 90. So we know that 9 is a good place to start. So let's try that. So Karani said, after you tried the 9, you multiplied because Dad divided first, right? So Mom came in to multiply. 9 times 75 is what?
I got 675.
675. And then right away you said, uh-oh, that's bigger than my number in the dividend. So what does that mean about 9 in the quotient? Do we need to make an adjustment?
Yeah.
We need to adjust it. It's too big. So what number should we try instead? Arshita?
8.
8. So instead, we should do 6,000. We rewrite the problem, or we can erase it. And now we'll try 8 instead. Let's see if that works better. 8 times 75 is what? Colin?
600.
600? Okay. Do we like that better? Does that make more sense? Very good. 612 minus 600 is 12. And we bring down the 7. So now how many times does 75 go into 127?
Once.
Does it only go in once?
Yes.
All right. 1 times 75 is?
75.
And then 127 minus 75 is, Arushi?
52.
52. Is 52 smaller than the divisor?
Mm-hmm.
That means we know that that is a remainder. So the answer is 81, remainder 52. Now, does that answer 81, remainder 52? Does that does that answer the question? How many shows does it take the group to sell all of the CDs? Will they sell out all of their CDs after 81 shows? How many CDs will they have left over after 81 shows? Adriana? 52 CDs left over. So how many shows is it going to take them to sell out all of their CDs? Every single last CD. Zara? 82 shows. Okay. Very good.